Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? My name is Juwan Rohan with the Misguided Podcast. Where we intend to guide you to a better future. I'm sitting here with Daniel, co founder of Hive Mind. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm kind of tired, but after looking at the camera, I'm like, I'm sick right now. So it's not that I'm tired. I'm sick.
Oh, man, why are you, what do you think you're sick with? Like the flu? It is flu season.
My what is it? My 2-year-old, my 3-year-old sneezed in my face about a few days ago. So I don't know what it is.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I hate sending my kids to school when, like, the winter's approaching because it's just going to be a battle of like sick every other week. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's cool. So I'm excited to kind of talk to you, interview you, and before we get into the interview, I like to introduce my audience to you and how I found you. And it was super random. I think I saw you on a thread on Twitter. I can't remember whose, but then I like checked out your profile and I was like, oh, okay, nice. Like he does some cool stuff. I would love to hit him up. DM'd you, and then we're here now. So that's how I found you, and I just want to thank you for taking the time.
No problem, man. One of the biggest things out there is you have to be visible, and even like that. Like I don't know what Twitter that you found me on, but I'm
Yeah,
glad you found me, and we're here today having a conversation. And
yeah,
that's what this is all about. That's what
yeah,
this.
yeah. Now the crazy thing is like a lot of that's been happening lately. I like last week interviewed someone that I like found uh on Reddit, and like he's a big time founder. Like I was like, oh, okay, nice. This is like really cool. And Reddit is supposed to be like anonymous, but he was in the chats and stuff saying like, hi, I actually own this app. I own the blah blah, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So the power of social media. Here we are. Cool. Let's go ahead and get into your story, man. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Chicago. I lived in Chicago till I was about 22. Moved to Atlanta after that, and I lived there for about 6 years, and then now I live in Southern California. And
Nice.
I've been here for about three, I think. It's been about
Where in SoCal are you? I was just there last weekend.
yeah. I live in between San Diego and LA in the Valley. So
In the Valley. Nice. San Diego's like my favorite place in the world. I want to retire there.
I love San Diego. It's cool living out here because like especially where I live, I can hit LAX, I can hit San Diego, and I can hit Ontario
Yep. Yep. That's
Airport.
cool. That's cool. That's cool. Are you close to Burbank? That's where I just flew into.
No, no, no.
No, no.
I'm like 2 hours from LA, like an hour from San Diego.
Oh, you're close. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Nice. That drive from LA to San Diego is like beautiful. Um, could also be hell though with traffic too, but that's cool, man. So how was Atlanta? How was the shift from Chicago to Atlanta?
Chicago to Atlanta was a big one for me. I mean, I tell people this all the time is that you really grow a lot when you leave home because most people never leave home and you have your friends and family and your comfort of home. Really leaving home puts you in a place to grow. And
Yeah.
I always tell young people to leave home. Um, it's really good for your growth. But I moved to Atlanta. I was working outside, man. I used to work outside in Chicago, and I hated it. And I hated living in Chicago. I just wanted an excuse to leave. And my wife had family in Atlanta. My girlfriend at the time, she had family in Atlanta. She was in Atlanta. I'm like, let's go. I'm ready. Like I had not holding me here. Like I was ready to go. So as soon as we moved to Atlanta, we were actually engaged at the time. So I married her like a year later. We bought a house and all that stuff in Atlanta. But one thing I learned about cities in general is that uh, the north side is where everything pops. Like that's where all the venues are. That's where all the good restaurants are. That's where all anything you want to do recreationally is all on the north side. And
Yeah.
I ended up moving on the south side, so I didn't really do anything much in Atlanta.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, that's what's up. I don't think I've been to Atlanta, but um, I have family that lives out there, and they tell me amazing things, and I need to go. Flights are so expensive though, from California to Atlanta. At least recently, they've been crazy. Um, that's cool though. How do you still own that home in Atlanta, or did you sell it?
I do real estate, so I actually did a real estate strategy with that property, and I still technically own it even though I sold it. So that's a whole nother thing. I sold it on a wrap, a lease
Oh,
purchase.
Can we talk about that? I know it's early, but can we talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk about it. So when I needed when I was leaving Atlanta, I needed to sell my house, and the market wasn't as hot back then. This is probably 2019, or maybe this is maybe right before COVID, like 2020, end of 2019. I needed to move, and I was just learning about real estate back then because I've only been in real estate about 4 years. Um, I only been in real estate about 4 years, so I was learning about real estate. And I know if I sold it on the MLS with the agent, I would only pocket like $5,000 to $10. So I'm like, I'm not going to do it that way. Let me leverage my mortgage because it was my mortgage in my house. So I found a guy online to do a lease purchase with $30,000 down, and then I cash flowed it for 500 a month for the past 3 years. So instead of getting 10 to 20K selling it on MLS, I sold it for 30K down, cash flow 500 a month, and I still cash flow it to this day. And I gave him a
What's the term?
I gave him a balloon of 3 years to refinance. So that's supposed to be happening in the next few months. But if it doesn't, I mean, I can always redo it again. That's the cool thing about this. Like if he goes and buys my house, I should make like 70, 80K on it right now at the price I sold it. So instead of making 10K selling on MLS, I sold it on a lease purchase with 30K down, 500 a month for 3 years, and I'll make 70K in the back end.
So when he goes to buy it, though, for those who don't know, like it, let's say he buys it in 2 months, is it based off the market value in 2 months, or is it based on what the price was when you made the contract?
It was based on the price of when I made the contract, and that was something I didn't know. So now I know a little bit more, but it is what it is. I mean, it's still for me, it's still a win either way.
Yeah, I mean, okay, if you did it right now, it might be less right now, but in a year, it might be more.
it'd be more. It was actually more. I mean, the
It'll be
market
more.
blew up during COVID.
Well, yeah, yeah, but now we kind of see a decrease. Oh, Atlanta though, not so much, but yeah, that's interesting strategy. Did you kind of like was this on the fly? Like you just randomly thought of this, or did you have like a mentor, someone who
I
told you
had
about it?
I had no mentor. I mean, I learned a lot of stuff online and YouTube and podcasting. I knew like I'm very informational type. Like I know a lot of different random things. And I like once I delve into real estate, I learned a lot about that. I just didn't know like what paperwork to use, how to structure the deal. I knew like the basics of it. So I'm like, let me just figure this out and do it. And
Nice.
the seller was he was a 1099 employee, and the whole lease purchase thing is finding 1099 employees. They're usually well paid. They usually have a good paying job or a good paying company that it might be an agent or something, a good paying
Yeah,
agent. They just can't get a loan.
yeah,
There's so many like people out there that either they're immigrants, they're self-employed, or they have a business that they make good money. They just can't get a loan.
yeah. So is the deed still in your name right
Deed's
now?
still my name.
And what about the mortgage?
Mortgage is still my name too.
Okay, so he's pretty much just your tenant right now, and then he's leasing. He has the option to buy. He doesn't have to, right? I mean, but you would keep that 30K.
Oh yeah. I would keep
Yeah,
that there.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm letting the audience know for those who don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely a lease purchase. And like I said, for me, it was one of my early on deals that I kind of went through, and it was a difficult deal, but it was I learned a lot going through that, and I'm like, man, now I'm just like, there's so much opportunity out there that you can create just by doing strategies like that that you can make a lot of upside on deals that
That's the really cool thing about real estate is there's so many exit strategies. Like in stocks, there's not, right? In a bunch of different businesses, there's not. And so real estate allows you to be creative in the way you want to enter and the way you want to exit. And that's why I really love it. What other cool things do you do, man? So we got real estate. What other cool stuff you do?
I actually have a SaaS company. I have a data company. I do a lead company. I'm all over the place right now. But
Same.
this all
I am.
pivoted. This all pivoted from trucking because when I first initially started business, I had a trucking company with 5 trucks.
Yeah,
So
let's talk about it. That was my next question. Great segue. Great segue.
my I'm originally a truck driver, and I always like bringing that up because most people that are truck drivers they think they never can leave. And I mean, I used to be a forklift operator too. So I used to be a forklift operator in Chicago. When I moved to Atlanta, my company was like, "Hey, you can get a raise if you go truck driving." I'm like, "All right." And one of the biggest incentives was there was no snow because I didn't want to drive
Oh,
80,000 pounds in the snow
yeah.
because those guys are crazy. So I'm like, I'll drive it as long as there's no snow, and that's why I started truck driving after that. So when I wanted to get into entrepreneurship, I found out my wife was pregnant. So I'm like, there's no good time to start entrepreneurship. You just have to like dive into it and just go. So when I found out my wife was pregnant, I'm like, let's do this now. I mean, there's no better time than now. So I worked my ass off. I worked like 6 days a week for almost a year. I took 2 weeks of vacation, 3 months of maternity leave, and then I quit.
Oh damn, you took it like back to back. It's like, yeah.
I took it back to back, and then
How much did you save in that year of 6 days a week?
that year I did almost 100K in revenue for my trucking company, or not even my trucking company. My last year of driving for my company, I did like 96,000.
But so is that like how much did you keep and save?
It was like 75 or something like that. I made like
That
75 after taxes.
nice.
That
Okay,
year.
so then you stop with that company and then you go start your other one. Why did you even think about that?
Well, I mean, it was just I knew I wanted to do entrepreneurship, but I had a CDL, so I'm like, let me just do trucking because the worst case scenario, I can drive.
Yeah.
And that's what I did, man. And it was the worst decision I ever did.
That's a social media clip right there. Clip that up. Clip it up. Cool.
But
So
I learned a lot going through that because it was like I did that for 2 years. I had my own company, got up to like 5 trucks. I worked like every day just because I had trucks working through the holidays, over weekends. My drivers would call me, mechanics would call me, drivers hitting deers and stuff. Like it was just crazy, so much like headache, and
yeah.
I hated it. But I learned a lot going through it. I had to steal. Side note: I had to steal my truck from one of my drivers because he was doing drugs in the truck. So I did like a whole heist and stole my own truck from my driver. Um,
Oh my God. Wait, all right. How'd you find out he was doing trucks? Don't you cameras?
no, he was like there was no way like he was driving like way farther than he should,
Uh,
uh, and like cocaine is like one of those things. And like I drug tested him too, and he passed. It was just one of those things where like this guy's got to be doing drugs. There's no other way you could do this. Like he was breaking the law. So
wow.
I told him, I was like, hey, meet me at this truck stop and I'll meet you inside. So when he went inside, he had a fence he was getting fired. So he already cleared out all this stuff. And I literally watched him clean out all this stuff outside the truck. And then I told him to meet me inside. And I was like, I'll be there in 5 minutes. And then I hopped in the truck and drove away.
That's crazy. And did he ever contact you?
Yeah, he did. He's like, someone stole the truck. I'm like, oh my goodness, no way. And I'm driving
What?
away.
Like, you never walked into the building, and that was his first thought: is someone stole the truck? He was definitely high.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because I would have been like, "Oh, he took it back from me. Like he repoed his truck."
And
um,
you would think that would have been his first thought, but no, it was someone stole the truck. I'm like, are you serious? I'm not
yeah.
there yet. I'll be there in a second.
Wow, that's crazy. Um, wow, incredible story. Glad you got the truck back. So, okay, let's talk about kind of the process in starting a trucking company. I actually think you're the first trucker that's been on here, so I kind of want to dive into that before Hive Mind. Process of starting the truck company. You had your CDL. What's next?
You got to get a truck, which is a pain in the butt. The dealerships. This is why like trucking is if you're anybody that's going into trucking, make sure you're cash heavy, very very cash heavy to buy your truck cash. And the reason why I say that is because as soon as you get they call it authority, you have to start paying insurance. You have to be insurance, and insurance is like $1,500 to $2,000 per month per truck. Um,
Whoa.
so as soon as you start it, it's going to cost you money, and you have to leave it just like you have to just like car insurance. You have to leave it insured, or else you can't move it. So if you want to start one, you have to get the truck first. Truck's going to cost you a new truck. Good new used truck is going to cost you like 40, 50 grand. You go to a dealership, you probably get one for about $7,000 to $10,000 down. Once you get that, you got to get insurance. You got to get your authority set up. It'll cost you about another 1,200. Your plates will cost you about 2,500. Your getting your insurance started, they want a down payment and then 1,500 a month. So that was about 3,000 to 4,000 because they want your first and last month. So it's 3,000 to 4,000 up front, and then it's 1,500 a month after that. Your truck payment could be anywhere from $1,200 to $1,800. and it's just expensive.
Yeah, that's not a cheap business to get into. Jesus. And
Yeah,
like you're not making money right off the back, right? Because you
no.
have to what? Okay, so you get the startup cost, you got that. Now how do you do the dispatching?
So my I didn't know this, but I was like, okay, so you like, oh, you get loads from the load board. I'm like, all right. So I told my wife, I was like, I got the trucks, I got the insurance. I'm gonna go to work today. I'm gonna go to work. So I go to the yard, and I sit in my truck, and I'm trying to get these loads. And they're like, hey, you got a trailer? No, I ain't got a trailer. Okay, well, you got to do what they call a loadout trailer. I'm like, all right, so what's a loadout trailer? Didn't know any of this before I started this. I'm already in this about 30 grand. And
Sheesh. That's
like
crazy.
you need a loadout trailer. So a loadout trailer is whenever they move empty trailers, like a manufacturer will, hey, we have a loadout trailer at a manufacturing place in middle Indiana. You pick it up, you can use it for 2 weeks, and you have to drop it off in Wisconsin. And they'll pay you $100. But you get to use the trailer for free. But the thing is, you have to drive up to there. And like, okay. So I'm like, okay, let me get that load. I'll get the load out trailer, and then after that, you have to get a load to load into your trailer, and then do that. So you have to load up all that stuff, and then figure out how to get to Wisconsin, drop the trailer off, and then hopefully find another trailer to get back to where you want to go, or else you're just gonna be on the road. So I get the loadout trailer. The dude calls me back, and he's like, I can't give you this load. I'm like, why not? He's like, I got my insurance and all this stuff. He's like, well, you're a new company. We can't give you a load for 60 days. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, we can't give you a load for 60 days. It's just that there's so many new companies that you can pop up, new business can pop up, and we just don't trust you.
Just take the load and dip out.
They took it back. I didn't even leave the yard because I was about driving away, and I had to turn back. So
What?
then, like, you get the realization that like you can't get a load for 30 days. So I literally sat at home for another 2 weeks, couldn't get a load because I had to season my authority, and then ended up getting a dispatcher who had connections to end up getting me loads. But he convinced me to buy a trailer, and there was just a whole lot of learning
How much
lessons.
was the trailer?
I think I bought my trailer for like 10 grand.
Okay. So you're in 40 grand at this point, weeks behind, and then you start getting these loads. How much are you getting paid per load?
Not enough.
What are we talking? Can we dive into some numbers?
Man, I don't even. It's been so long. Like it's. I remember like anybody that goes in the trucking like, oh, you can make like $5,000 a week. I'm like, maybe,
Yeah.
5,000, but then you got to look at all the costs. So you have, if you drive that whole week, you might make 5,000. Usually you're gonna do about, my drivers usually did about 4 to 4,500. They maybe hit like 5,000 maybe once or twice. And that was when I had like really good drivers. But you're gonna do about 4 to 5,000 a week. Well, what's the cost? Well, the driver is gonna want about 1,000 to 1,200 bucks. Gas and diesel is gonna cost you 1,500 to 1,800, depending on where they go and the loads they got and where they and how heavy they were. So that's about 3,000. And then guess what? You have 1,000 to do with, but that's if they don't fuck up, and then you still have all your other bills on top of that.
Yeah. Nah, it could be. I think, see, that's the thing is like I've seen fairly successful people in the trucking industry, and I've seen people who have just like butchered it. My grandparents were super successful. They had their own trucking company. They retired with it. They're living.
How
They're
long?
home.
How long ago is the question?
How long ago is the question?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was kind of my my opa got out like right when he got out of the Navy. So it was a long time ago. He was first a trucker for Coca-Cola and then branched off and started his own company that was like a contractor for Coca-Cola.
So what happened is that trucking used to be a really good business back
Hmm.
in the 80s and 90s, even the
Hmm.
70s. It was just a really good business.
So yeah, it was around there.
What happened was the business got overregulated,
Mm.
um, and it put profit margins down. All their essentially rate per mile is just like the stock market. Hey, we have 10 trucks in your area doing it for $1. You better take it for $1 or drive empty.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just oversaturation, just like every other industry. You got to kind of find your niche and stuff. now, right?
And like you're stuck to the market, like the rate per mile, and there's so much data and analytics out there. There's companies that can afford to do things cheaper because maybe they paid cash, so
Yeah.
they're going to do that low cheaper. Whereas you might need a certain profit margin. I'm not going to move them, and then you have all these triggers. I'm not going to move my truck for $3 a mile, and like you're going to be sitting there for a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then like you have your drivers that stipulations like that. I need to make $1,200 a month minimum or $1,200 a week minimum, and I'm like, okay, well, that's not possible.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. So wait, you were doing it for 2 years until you decided to stop?
Yeah, I went out of business, man.
Oh, so it was like a bad ending, like you just couldn't do it and went out of business.
Oh,
Okay, so you're losing money. How do you get rid of the 5 trucks? How do you kind of start to dissolve?
I haven't said this anywhere else, but actually, they actually all got repoed.
What? Jesus. All right, so you went to repo your truck and then they came and repoed it back. Like, damn.
Yeah, they all went to repo because like the and that's the crazy part about it. Like I haven't even gotten into the depth of this much, but in any podcast ever. But like, yeah, they all went to repo because like I made like 550,000 in 2 years, but I still lost 100 grand.
Wait, 500. Okay, but that's still like 450.
I lost 100 grand.
Am I missing something?
I brought in 550, but spent 650.
Oh, got you. Sorry. I thought you okay. Sorry, I thought it was the opposite way you were doing it. Okay, yeah, that
No,
makes sense. Oh,
no.
wow. Oh, damn. Yeah, so you needed some repoing.
Yeah, and like
Um,
I like there's nothing else you can do. Like, and the other thing is like right when all this happened, like the with COVID and all this stuff that went down, like I was one of those businesses that got hit by COVID. It was all
yeah.
this went down at the same time, and like you can't do nothing back then. You're stuck at the mercy of the rates and all that stuff. It was just there was so much going on. I had a lot of bad drivers. I had drivers that stole from me. I had
Hey, how'd you screen your drivers? How'd you hire them?
um my insurance would do a background check on them, but it was so hard to find drivers. I would hire everybody.
Like Craigslist?
Craig, man, I did everything, man. Craigslist,
Home
Facebook,
Depot parking lot? Like
paid dispatchers. I mean, I paid the headhunters. Headhunters wanted 250 a pop to go find them, so I paid headhunters a few times to find drivers. I probably went through like 20 to 30 drivers in 2 years.
wow. That's crazy, man. Okay. So trucking business was not for you. You
It's not
started it.
for anybody. Anybody wants to trucking, do not do it.
I have a friend currently right now that's in the process of getting his trucking
Have him
business.
call me,
I'm
legit.
gonna send this to him right now.
Have him call me. Like
He's so sold on it. He's so sold on it.
I'm telling you, literally, my partner's sister. She's like, oh, my cousins called me. They told me they want to give them the trucking. They need about $10,000. And my partner's like, hey, talk to Daniel. He's been through this. Talk to Daniel. So I'm like, all right, I'll talk to him. I'm like, okay, did they tell you about this, this, and this, and this? They tell you about insurance. They tell you about expenses. Tell you about breakdowns. They tell you about your driver taking a 2-week vacation.
Yeah.
Who pays the bills at that point? They tell you about fuel cards. They tell you about factoring. They tell you about all these things that they never told you about. They tell you about that? No. Okay, they're probably just like me in the same boat, starving for cash, looking for.
But did you do your research before?
I did, but there's not that much information out there. Like I knew the basics, but you don't see.
Do you know Did you know someone in it previously that you could have kind of asked questions?
I didn't know anybody.
That's the thing is like there's only so much research you can do, right? There's only so much Google can tell you. You only actually learn once you're in it, which 100%. You did. And that's good. Like you need to be in it. I think you said that in the beginning. You need to put your foot forward in order to learn. But now you got that learning experience that honestly made you a better entrepreneur these other endeavors.
It did, and there's so much what information I know now. And this is let me tell you, buddy, $10,000 to get a truck. With what you know now, you can go buy $100,000 business already established with the same money.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that right now. With all these distressed businesses right here.
There's so much more opportunity in different sectors that don't go through the trucking route. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. Like
Yeah.
for anybody trying to do it, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yep. Yep. I feel it. I feel it.
there's too much regulation that make it hard to make money. Like back in the day, there was less regulation. People could do a lot of crazy stuff. There was a lot of connect. There was so much demand for it. It was easier to make money. Where now there's less demand. It's just crazy, man.
Yeah. Very true. Okay, cool. So we got trucking covered. Let's talk about how you transition out of trucking, kind of what your vision is into. I don't know if you started HiveMind right after that or you started that CRM, right?
Neither actually. When
Oh,
I got out of trucking, I was doing real estate, so I was wholesaling.
okay.
I was wholesaling. I eventually I wholesaled a lot, a dirt lot, and I've been doing real estate land after since then. But um,
You
yeah,
wholesaled. All right, no, we need. You're not gonna skip over that. We gotta talk about it. Wholesaled a dirt lot. I never heard of someone doing lots. So especially just dirt. So let's talk about that.
that's all I do now. The only
What?
house deal I have done is my personal house. The rest has been dirt.
Oh wait, do you own your house in SoCal? Random.
I'm renting right now. I'm trying to.
Okay.
I was waiting for the market to turn because the houses here are expensive, and I'm stuck in that entrepreneur 1099 spot where
Yeah,
I
what you
can.
got like a one more year left into.
Well, yeah, and like I still have all that shit happen from trucking
Oh, true, true.
on my record. So
Yeah,
um, I have those repos. Those repos stick just like foreclosures.
yeah. And there's five of them too. You got five repos.
Well, three of them were three of them were mine personally, and two were owner operators.
Got
So I haven't told anybody this. So if you're listening to this, this is all the juice. Juwan got it out of me.
it. For
But
real.
like those repos stick to you. So I've been waiting for the market to change. That way I can find one seller financed. So I'm actually hunting for a house right now, seller finance, here in
Nice,
California.
nice,
I've,
nice.
I've I've been renting for 2 years.
Cool, cool. Okay, so land. How'd you
Man,
get in? Were you introduced by someone?
no,
You
no.
just randomly fall into these things.
Okay, so here's the funny part. So when all the trucking stuff was going on, I knew the end of the road was coming literally. So I'm like, I have to do something else. So while I was like driving and had all this free time, I was started listening to podcasts. And I'm like, okay, I know real estate's a good thing. I don't know nothing about it. Let me just like educate myself on this part. So I learned about wholesaling down like a YouTube rabbit hole. And I'm like, okay, this might be it. This might be it. Who knows? So the guy I learned, one of the guys I kind of liked, he was like 17 back then, and he wholesaled his first. He had his first check before he graduated high school. I'm like, man, if this 17-year-old kid could do it, I could do this shit. I'm like, I need to, like, I have to do something because I know trucking ain't gonna work out. So I started going. He created like a real estate course for like $250. I bought that thing. He had a private Facebook group, and this was back 4 years ago now. And I bought his course. He was probably 18 at the time, and I bought his course and he taught you all the basic game about wholesaling. And inside the group, me and another buddy were like, "Let's try land." And I'm like, and this was after a while of doing houses. Like I have like crazy house stories that happened before that fell through. I had a deal that was supposed to close on a Monday, and my seller was like 80 years old. He had a heart attack on a Friday before closing, and the deal fell through. I was gonna make like 27,000. Um, yeah, and this is
Wow.
like when I first started learning real estate.
Did he make it after the heart
No, he
attack?
passed away.
Oh
Like
my god, that's crazy.
he died. I had another story where I contracted like four house. Oh, another one. I talk about this I talked about this somewhere else recently, but I found a house. The seller had two properties. One he was living in, another one he had that was a rental. The renters moved out, and he's like, family needed a place to stay, so he put him in the house, but they stopped paying rent to him, and he didn't want to deal with his family members. So he ended up hitting my marketing somehow. I forget how, and I went through the I Um, I evicted his own family members out of the house. I got the contract, evicted the family members. I trashed out the house with a dumpster and everything. I took it to close sub two because there wasn't enough equity in the deal to buy.
Yeah.
Without taking a sub two. So I figured all that stuff out, take a sub two, got the seller to go to the table, and closing table. I take the seller's like, oh, my car broke down. Can you take me to the closing? I'm like, yeah, I'll take you. Take him to the closing, and the underwriters say he has a $30,000 credit card debt that won't release, and the deal falls through.
Did he know about the credit card debt?
He knew about it, but he didn't know it was attached to his property. And
they put a lien on it?
It wouldn't release.
Wow.
So man. I contracted like 4 or 5 houses before I did my land deal that all fell through for different reasons. All for fucking different reasons. So I'm like,
so you were like, I'm done with property.
Like, I have to do something else. So my buddy's like, let's try land. So I'm like, all right. So I got a website up and I did some Google ads to land, and a lady in Atlanta hit me up. She's like, I have this quarter acre in Florida that people keep on dumping on my property. Can you help me? And I'm like, yeah, I can help you, of course. So I'm like, it's the same process, but it's just doing a little deeper. So I looked up the comps. From my point of view, I thought it was about $20,000. So with land, you always want to move it at a discount, just like with houses, so you move faster. So I'm like, if I can get this thing for about $5,000, it's gonna be a deal, because I know I can move it for about 10 to 15, and we're gonna make some money on this. So I told her, like, will you sell this to me for $4,233.32? I just made up a number. And
hold on, it's worth 20?
It was worth about 20.
And she said yes, I'm assuming, to this.
She said yes. She's like, if you can do it for 5, I'm like, yes, that's where I need her. I'm like,
what the hell?
5. So I sold it on Marketplace in 2 days, Facebook Marketplace in 2 days for $12,000.
So you're come up with about 7,000.
I ended up paying. I did the whole negotiations through Facebook, and then a lady called me the next day. I'm like, hey, I'm an agent representing so and so buyer. I'm like, what the fuck? I hate agents. Why are they trying to blow up my deal? And then she's like, would you pay commission? And I'm like, I pull up the math. 12,000 times 3%. Yeah, I'll pay commission. It's like $200, $300. I'm like, yeah, I'll pay commission. And then she's like, the title company you chose is like an hour away from me. Can you make it $500? I'm like, as long as he signs, I'll make it $500. So I agreed to pay her $500. I sold it for $12. $500 went to the lady with title closing costs and all that stuff. I made like $6,500.
Woo! In 2 days. Look at that. Let's go. That's awesome.
Like, after that, all land. Never.
So how many land deals are you in right now, do you think?
Me and my partner, we do about 20 to 30 deals a year, but we're doing bigger land deals right now. Where we did a deal last year. We bought 107 acres and we subdivided it. We made $200K in cash, $200K in notes on it, and that's all we do now. We do bigger land deals.
Hold on. Let's talk about that. Is that your biggest deal to date?
To date, but we're working on like a $16 million deal in Florida right now. We're working on like all these big deals right now.
16? How the hell do you have 16 million? Do you get investors?
No, we seller finance.
Okay,
we do creative finance with land, and that's how we make money.
Tell me about it. Tell me about this. I don't know which one's more interesting, the 16 million that you're working on now, or the one that you just the 200 in cash and 200 in notes. That one sounds interesting.
A lot of what we do is we try and seller finance. I don't like kids are right here. Like,
okay.
1 second.
No worries. $200K in cash. That's bonkers. We're gonna get into this story. Make sure you guys go follow Daniel Hivemine on Twitter. That's where I originally found him. Make sure you find him on Instagram and his website. Just type in Daniel Esteban Martinez Hivemine and you'll find it. You back?
Yeah, sorry, my kids they bust in the room. My wife hates when I lock the door.
My son was just trying to do that about 5 minutes ago. I had to text my wife. He was trying to open it, Dad.
Crazy.
So, yeah.
It's crazy.
It's all good. So let's talk about. I want to hear about the 200 cash deal and the 200 in notes. Explain the whole situation. Let's go.
So, me and my buddy, we actually, the person that told me to start doing land, we ended up partnering up like a year later
Okay.
after we did that deal, and we just strictly been doing land after that. We've been strictly doing land after that right now. So we actually have, we do all. We're like, if you look us up, we're known for doing land. That's all we do. Me and my partner, 100%. So this deal we bought for 107 acres. In Texas, you can actually subdivide into 10-acre lots or larger without having to put in roads.
Hmm.
It's just adding paperwork. You have to do engineer to cut up the properties,
Yeah.
paper, and then you can just subdivide and sell them off. So we contract this property for $1,070,000 with $200,000 down, seller finance with $800,000, and we privately raised from one of our contacts $200,000 on the front end for the down payment, and then we subdivided all the lots. It took us 9 months to sell all 11 lots that we created, and we sold them all. And we sold for cash and seller financed them. So some we got in cash, some we got payments for, and we ended up making like $200K in cash, $200K in notes.
So the notes, they're paying you monthly to have the land.
Yeah, we became to the bank.
And that's amazing. How long are the terms?
I think those we did 20 years. We did 20-year terms.
That's crazy. So you're getting like, how much is one lot going for? I know they might be different based on size, but just like roughly.
I think we're doing about 1,500 per lot of the ones we sell or finance. But here's the crazy deal about land. We did a deal about a year and a half ago that $30,000 lot. How many $30,000 lots are out there? Probably infinite, right? Especially right now. So this guy came up to us. He came in, hit our marketing, and he's like, "I need 15 grand for my lot." Well, he's already at 50 cents on the dollar. So my partner's like, "We'll give you 8." And he's like, "No, I need 15. I can't do 8. I'm sorry." I'm like, all right. And he came back like 90 days later, and he's like, because land doesn't move either.
Yeah.
It just sits. So he came back 90 days later, and he's like, "Hey, I heard you're interested in buying my lot. I remember I talked to you. Can you buy it for 15?" And he looked at his messages. "Yeah, I told you 8 last time." He's like, "What can you do now?" I'm like, 8. He's like, "All right, I'll take the 8."
Nice. So you got it for 8. Would you flip it for 30? 25?
Check this out. So the lot was worth about 35. And this is where our whole like strategy came in. Lot was worth about 35. We came in, we got it for 8 under contract. We double closed because with land, like with houses, you have to move that shit 30 days or less, right? With land, we're doing 90 days minimum. We contract everything for 90 days minimum, sometimes even longer than that. And we put it on marketplace. Guess what? For $8,000 down, $500 a month. We sold it. We sold that one like in 2 weeks for $45,000 purchase price, $8,000 down, and $500 a month for 20 years.
45,000 purchase price.
Yeah, we oversold it.
Yeah.
It was 10 years, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
That was 10 years. So $500 a month for 10 years, 10% interest, seller financed.
That's insane. Wow. I don't understand. Like, because you're not adding any value to these lands. Like, you're literally just buying it at a discount and selling it, which other people can do.
So the value add we bring is financing. That's the value add. So the problem with land is it doesn't cash flow, and 2, people that buy it in cash, and it's really hard to get financing. So we solve those problems. So whenever we acquire as a cash buyer, super low deals, super cheap deals. So you can get land 20 cents, 30 cents in the dollar just by doing marketing. So from there, if you can get 20-30% down, you can sell it for full price.
So you're becoming the bank essentially because it's hard. What are these people doing with the land from your experience? Why are they buying it then?
They hunting, recreational. It could be they're going to build a house. One of our buyers, he's bought multiple properties from us. He's a mobile home dealer, so he actually gets mobile homes in the cheap and puts them on the property and resells them again. So that's awesome. We work with all different types of clients. Most of our clients are minorities, Hispanic, that just want to own land. So we're giving the American dream.
Are you only in Atlanta? No, you just said you're doing it in Florida.
We do this all in Texas. Right
Oh,
now,
all in Texas.
we've done all our deals in Texas. So my partner's in Texas, and this is where it comes down to, like, I live in California. I never even lived in Texas. I do all the back end stuff. So you don't have to do front end sales. You don't have to do signing contracts and all that stuff. You don't have to do all that stuff. You can find something you're good at and do that and not have to do anything else. So me and my partner, that's how we work. He's some front end sales, belly to belly, and I'm back end marketing, systems and automation.
Nice. How's he getting the deals? Is he out there on the floor looking around, driving
We
around?
do we do PPC and texting, which is
Okay.
the services we provide right now
Nice.
through
Nice.
Highline.
That's super dope. That's amazing, man. I gotta look into it now. I like real estate, but I mean the land is amazing.
That
Especially in
land is
Texas.
amazing, man. We've had clients because our whole thing we teach like 50 acres and up $1 million deals. That's our whole strategy because, like, we've had clients that do. I have a client right now. He does about 10 to 15 deals a month just on little info lots in Florida. He'll make like 10 to 5 to 10 grand a lot, and he clicks them out, boom, 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 just contracts them because he reverse wholesales. So he'll find builders that want to buy at that one size property in this neighborhood for 30,000, and he just looks for that same property that they're buying in the area, and he finds them for 20, and just doom, doom, doom. Here it is, a back and buy, ready to buy.
I mean I might need to learn more from you. So that's crazy. I want to skip to the Hella Misguided segment before we transition into Hive Mind and what it's all about. So in the Hella Misguided segment, I ask the same question to each entrepreneur and business owner that comes up here. That question is simple. It is, are you ready?
Sure.
If you were to write a letter to your 18-year-old self, what would a summary of that letter be?
Um, Networking relationships and mentors. They're a hack. I didn't have those in trucking, and I think that's kind of why I kind of fell on my face. I did have a mentor in it, but he he helped me through a lot of my struggles early on. I would have failed much sooner if it wasn't for him. But a real estate, man, it's been all the stuff we've learned over the last 3 to 4 years have just been networking. Like, I can like me and my partner talk about this all the time, but, like, people become really rich. The way to become really, really rich is to absorb time. And how you absorb time is you educate and learn from people that have been around the block a lot longer than you, and you can shortcut that time, learned lessons and fall in your face 100 times to get where they got. You can shortcut that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's about networking early on, building relationships, and just being a fly on the wall, like learning. Like I've realized even through this podcast and just like the people I've met, I realize there's so much information out there, and there's so much like connections to be made. I've made some incredible connections through the podcast alone, partnerships, everything, and I truly believe in that quote that if you go together, you can go further. If you go alone, you can go faster, right? And so that's great footnotes for that. Cool, cool. Let's go ahead and talk about Hive Mind. Um, how'd you start it? What is it, etc.
So HiveMind is a SaaS company, software as a service. um, it is a marketing tool automation for businesses. So we use it for real estate specifically. It does texting, emailing, websites, forms, PPC. It does a lot of different types of strategies. There's call tracking, call forwarding, um, unlimited users, unlimited websites. It's kind of like if you're a small business, you need a CRM. Most businesses don't use one till like 5, 6 years in business, and it can really accelerate your business once you have one integrated and automated. And where it came from was everybody out there mostly uses Podio, and I'm the integrator, so I'm like I have to learn Podio, so I'm like in there, and I'm like, man, this is terrible, literally terrible. Podio's terrible, and I'm techie, so I saw the opportunity to start HiveMind, and it's built off of another third-party platform that we kind of built on and added our own stuff to it. So I saw the opportunity for it, and I'm like, man, this thing really changed my business as a whole. I know it can help a lot of other entrepreneurs. So that's what we do, man. We help a lot of entrepreneurs automate their business. So we've had 15 clients hit 6-figure months since we started, and we started during COVID. So we've been around for it'll be 2 years in February.
So what is I'm looking through the website exactly. Can you break so is it for any entrepreneur and business owner?
It works for every entrepreneur and business owner because, like, even for coaching, podcasting, sales, car sales, like I have all different types of clients. I have notary clients. I have podcast clients.
Yeah, I see. I'm on your website. You know my boy Andre Hatchett.
Yeah.
That's amazing. He uses it. Hive mind.
Some of his clients do. So one of his clients that started his own notary business uses it just like Andre Hatchett does. So Andre Hatchett does like dispatching type thing.
Yeah.
And he uses it. One of my clients that learned from Andre Hatchett uses it for that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I love Andre. He's the boy. Cool. So let's talk about kind of what exact can you like I wish we could walk through it right now, but can you give like all right, let's say I'm in the notary business, which I am. I'm a notary. How would I use it if you were to coach me, sell me on the product?
So one thing notaries always need to do is Google My Business integration to collect and set up reviews. So we integrate with Google My Business. So every client that you get, you go sign, you can set up automation to ask them for a review. You can even say, hey, you're going to get a text in about 30 minutes to an hour. If you can leave me a positive review, it helps me provide a better service to my clients. Simple thing you say up front, they get a text automation and it automatically requests for that Google review. It's just cold calling. If you're cold calling to get new business, for everybody, especially if you're a notary, you're not going to get any business if you're not marketing. It's just the bottom line. So you can start cold calling. Like I know my buddy, he uses it for he cold calls like these attorneys' offices, and he'll load them all on a list to start cold calling them and see if they need like notary services and how frequent they need.
So does it give you a list?
It doesn't give you a list. You can upload the list into there. We do provide lists for real estate, but it depends on like stuff like that. You have to like pull and aggregate yourself depending on what you're doing. But you can upload a list and put it through the dialer.
For real estate, what do you mean? You provide a list of like people who's late on payments or something?
Yes. So we provide. That was actually my first company I started when I started real estate. So I started real estate and then I got into data and skip tracing. So I provide leads in all 50 states, and then I started my software company. So now they just go hand in hand. So we do provide lists that you can call or text, email, and you can use HiveMind for that. And it's kind of the tool to nurture and build up your audience. So everybody, the sales cycle is the same. You have contacts that turn into leads turn into business. You turn those business into reviews, which will give you more contacts. And HiveMind helps you with all that to help the flow and automation and follow up to make sure you're top of mind.
Nice. And I see that it's an app. You have an app.
We do have an app. We are on Google Play and Apple Store. Just search HiveMind CRM.
Nice. Let's talk about the so we talked about kind of what it has. Let's talk about pricing. What's the pricing structure?
Right now, it's $149 a month. If you actually go to our website right now, we're running a Black Friday sale. There's a little present that pops up. You can actually win for a chance for a free trial.
Nice. Okay.
Or you actually can win for a 1-year subscription for free if you win.
What do you do? Have to enter your email or something?
Yeah, you just gotta put in your email.
Okay, cool. And then okay, let's talk about how you started it, because like that starting a SaaS is, you have to know like software development or at least know someone. So do you know that type of stuff?
No.
All right. So how'd you start it, and did you hire someone out?
No.
You created the whole SaaS.
So this is where you don't have to do everything from scratch. There's companies out there that help you get a leg up to kind of create and do your own thing. So the company I work off, think of like imagine if there was a car manufacturer that sold cars, but it gave you the ability to customize it. You put in the rims, you put in the color, you put in how many seats it's going to seat.
So like Shopify.
something like that, and essentially build on it, and you can add in your own features. So since I was already in the data business, I already have a niche of real estate. You just kind of build upon that and provide product services upon that software. So I pay to license the software, and I charge my customers whatever I want.
All right, who like what is a company that I could reach out to do this from the audience? Like if like to do that customization. Can you
I
spill the
mean,
beans?
if you want any customization for HiveMind, you reach out to my team. I have a team for that, and we can kind of build out any automations you want for you and your business, whether you are a notary or a podcaster like yourself. We can build out custom automation. So I literally run everything through HiveMind. I'm telling you, I have my data business running through it. I have my real estate business running through it. I have my lead business running through it. I have my podcast scheduling and automations running through it. Like everything, like 90% of my life is ran through HiveMind, and it
Mm,
saves me a bunch of time. I manage
nice.
all my clients through HiveMind.
Okay. Big timing, big timing. Nice. Okay, that's super cool. So, um, how so it's been 2 years. And do you mind if we kind of dive into financials about it?
Yeah, we're on track to hit 1 million in revenue by the end of the year since we started,
A
and we'll
million in revenue. Holy crap. How many clients you got?
right now I got like 350.
350. And how's marketing? How have you been marketing that?
Word of mouth,
Word of mouth.
word of mouth, and free and organic traffic through social media.
Nice. So most of the clients, you have do you have like tier processes? So 149 is the basic, and then what you got like a premier?
It's basic, master, and master elite plans. So we provide
What's the top?
master elite is we provide pretty much full automation integration. Whatever you want done in it, we'll do it for you. And we throw in, I think we throw in like we do an annual event every year somewhere in the country. So we've done Dallas, Fort Lauderdale, and then we're doing San Antonio this year. So we throw in event tickets to come to our annual event. Um, it's the cheapest price for texting. You get a one-on-one call with me and Anthony, and then I forget what else we do.
So Anthony is the guy you started the land stuff with, right? So you guys decided to partner up on HiveMind as well.
Mm-hmm.
What did he do prior to this? How did you guys know each other?
He's construction,
Okay.
15 years, and then he's been in marketing for a while. Like he's
Okay.
been in the marketing side of construction. So when we kind of, if you don't know, real estate is a marketing business, not necessarily real estate. So he kind of fell right into it, and we've been doing pretty good ever since.
Nice. So we got 1 million in revenue on track. Congrats. That's huge, man. For real. That is huge. So in 350 thousand clients, what are kind of like the overhead costs in running a SaaS business?
It varies. It varies. Like my team cost me about I have 5 employees, 5 full-time employees. Right now, that costs me about 5,000 a month, I think.
What are the employees? What positions are they?
So I have 2 for customer service. I have 2 full-time video editors because I do podcasting too, and I have 1 social media manager that produces and creates all my content.
Okay. Nice. And 5,000 a month. Okay. And I mean the program, like I'm sure there's like some technical cloud stuff that you have to pay for, right? Data space. Like
Yeah, I have to pay for that. I really don't want to go into the cost about that. But yeah, we have a cost for that. And then we have additional software we added into it, which kind of gives us our niche add-on, and that costs on top of that too. So we have our fixed costs and reoccurring costs that our clients use for texting. So all the texting that our clients do runs through us too.
nice. Are you able to you, you're probably not gonna say much on this, but do you see the text that people send?
I can look at them, but I don't necessarily monitor them.
Yeah, okay, cool. I didn't know if there was some privacy stuff that you need to.
Well, I mean, like, I have to have access to everybody's account, so whenever somebody has an issue or they get stuck somewhere, we'll come and hop in their account and look at them. But I don't like monitor.
Oh, and especially for the automation part, you would be doing the text messages for them. So, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, never mind.
Yeah. So I don't like monitor every message. Like us personally, just between our company, we sent over 100,000 texts in the last 3 months.
Man, that's crazy.
That's just us.
Yeah, I use this crazy because I wonder how much easier it is to have it automated. Like for me, for my notary business, for my real estate, everything. I do like the texting myself. So like I got an appointment in about an hour, and right after I before I even leave the appointment because I never want to figure out. I just say, hey, I'm gonna shoot you a text message. Here it goes. Boom. That like so I do it myself. I just wonder how easy it is.
You can automate that 100%. So like I talked about this. I made a video about this recently. So we do a lot of outbound texting, and sometimes somebody would just like rub me the wrong way through a text message, and I get all the notifications that my company does. So we have we have five team members on the software side. We have another like 4 on the real estate side. There's 4 of us on the real estate side, and I'll see a message. The message came across the other day. So he's like we text him and he's like fuck off, and I'm like, that's not the right word because we have to text opt out language.
Yeah,
like that's not the right word. He's like, well, like stop spamming me. I'm like, I'm not spamming you, and he's like, and I'm just texting him from my phone through the app, and he's like this feels really shitty, and I'm like, shitty is a matter of perspective. Some people might see this opportunity. He's like, I would see this opportunity. You probably text like thousands of people and you get a bunch of random responses. I'm like, here's some perspective for you. If I can have bad and good conversations for under a quarter, I'm in the money forever.
what did he say?
He said that's deep.
That is deep. Nice.
Texting doesn't cost that much, and people will respond, of course, negatively to them, but you're going to have good responses too. So there's a lot of people that do direct mail. Direct mail can cost you 50 to 70 cents just for a postcard, one piece. If I can have a full conversation for under a quarter, like that's a no-brainer. I'm going to text everybody.
Yeah, just shooting up the text messages. Nice. Well, that's cool, man. I didn't know like that much about kind of the automation and HiveMind. That's really cool. We're gonna start wrapping up soon, but before I want to hit up some quick questions. I'm gonna ask you about 2 to 3 questions, and I'd appreciate it if you could be as quick as possible, 1 to 2 sentences in your answers. All right. You ready?
Always.
What's the biggest mistake a newbie real estate investor can make?
Newbie real estate is not being consistent. A lot of people think they're doing all the right things in the right way, but if you're not consistent, it's not enough.
What's the best way to find the best real estate deals?
Texting, in my opinion. Texting and PPC, that's what we use. It's an inbound strategy versus cold calling, which takes physical time, and direct mail, which takes physical money, a lot of it, to make those points of contact. It comes down to a numbers game where if you get more points of contact, you're going to do more deals. And if you do that consistently, you're going to do very well.
What's the very first thing to start in a trucking business? Every time I bring up trucking,
don't do it. Listen to this episode a few times.
Yeah. I knew that was going to be a good one. All right, for sure. Okay, man, that's really dope. So kind of what's your podcast about?
My podcast is about entrepreneurship, real estate. We talk a lot about marketing. We call ourselves the Hive With Us Podcast Network because we have a lot of different types of shows. So we do interviews like this one. I have bonus episodes that I release, which is episodes like this one where I come on other podcasts and I talk. So I like giving my audience different perspectives as bonus episodes of me being interviewed and asking different questions because I don't answer the same answer every time. And interviews like this, they get more stuff out of me. And then we have like first deal stories, talk about commercial real estate. We talk about notes. We talk about marketing, business acquiring. We talk about a little bit of everything, man, about entrepreneurship, man. It's pretty cool. I learn a lot, and that's one of the selfish things of being a podcaster is you get to be the person learning from your guest.
Most def. Yeah, most def. Yep. I 100% agree. I've learned so much. I've done amazing things. I mean, like I became a notary because of Andre Hatchett. I'm very successful notary now, and like I owe it all to him. So yeah, um, there's a bunch to learn out there. Podcasts are great. Where do you see your future in the next 5 years?
I don't know, man. I feel like I've only been in real estate for 4 years, entrepreneurship for five. Like my whole trucking and real estate journey has all been in the last 5 years. This hasn't even been 5 years.
Yeah.
So honestly, I couldn't even tell you what the next 5 years will be. It's been an interesting journey, and don't get stuck in this. Don't get stuck in the same rut as other people because, like people. I always laugh about this because like people think like the Burr strategy is like the go-to strategy, and like whenever I talk to Burr people, they're like, oh, I make like $250 per unit, and I always bring up that story where I made five. We still make $500 cash flow off that one lot.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's two of your houses for a tenth of the value,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
or a fourth of the value, depending on where your rentals are. So
Yeah.
there's different ways to create cash flow, and being a landlord is not equivalent to being the bank because I don't talk to my
No,
buyers.
everybody wants to be the bank. That's the goal. The bank is the best position.
The bank is the best position. So once you learn how to leverage how to be the bank, you never want to be a landlord ever again.
Yeah, facts, 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 facts. Nah, that's amazing, man. Great, 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 great knowledge right there. I appreciate you coming up here. We're gonna wrap it up. We just hit an hour mark. The way I like to end the episode is with a segment called Guided Conclusions, where I ask a question we didn't talk about prior to this recording. That question could be funny, sad, could make you cry, could be about whatever. Ready? I'm about to hit you with it. Would you rather take $2 million today or take 7 million after you finish a degree of your choice? 4 years.
$2 million today, 100%.
Why?
Because I know how to accelerate capital, and I don't need a degree to do that.
Do you think you could accelerate it in 4 years? In less
Yeah,
than 4 years?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, easily.
Let's talk about it. What would be kind of your first? How would you do it?
Seller financing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want I want to be the bank for everything. So one thing that we've done in real estate is we didn't have a lot of private money. We didn't have a lot of money in general. So everything we've attacked and bought has been seller finance. So we're only looking for seller finance opportunities. When you only go after seller finance opportunities, that's all you find, and your money stretches farther. So we did $1 million deal with 200 grand that wasn't even our money. So imagine what we could do with $2 million of our own money. That could be $20 million worth of deals.
Yeah. How'd you find that $200,000 investor?
Through our network. He's actually one of my software clients.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. That's really cool. I'm right now trying to buy distressed businesses, and I've been trying to find ways to look for investors. That I have a great deal right now that I'm trying to work on, and that's amazing how you already just had that plug. Like, you know what I mean? You didn't have to go actively search for it.
Yeah, you have to go actively search for it, and it's one of those things where like, um, the money is out there. There's money out there just waiting to be deployed, and you have to build up that rapport. So, one thing about like even with my podcast, I'm looking to acquire businesses as well. So I'm interviewing people that do that. Like an episode released yesterday that he helps people exit businesses. So now I'm learning more about the space, and I'm getting a guy interviewed that helps acquire businesses. He's acquired like $200 million in businesses, and he's coming up on the show soon. So
Nice.
it's leveraging and having those conversations and learning from mentors through podcasting and using the knowledge applied. What is it? Applied knowledge. I'm using that applied knowledge.
Nice. Let me know when that episode drops, because I literally just sat down with the owner of this business yesterday, and it's an amazing deal that I want to buy, but I need the lease ends next year, so yeah, I would love to learn as much as I can before. All right, well, you guys heard it here. This was a great episode. I thank you for coming up here and spending your Saturday morning. So you guys heard it here. This is the Misguided Podcast, where we intend to guide you to a better future. Again, my name is Juwan, sitting here with co-founder of Hive Mind, Daniel Esteban Martinez. Make sure you guys go follow him on his social media platforms. His Twitter handle is Daniel Hive Mind. Is that the same as Instagram?
Yeah. Damn, how
Cool.
about Instagram?
Nice, nice. Keep it simple. And make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment on this episode, and we appreciate your support. We'll see you on the other side.